Okay, so my name is Enrique Torres, and I work for the Navy here at White Sands. And my position is a general engineer with specialty in a test officer position, which falls under more programmatics and things of that nature. So originally, I'm from Gallup, New Mexico. I grew up there majority of my childhood. I did move to Las Cruces during my high school years. So here's where I went to college as well, right after I graduated from Oñate High School. So in my position, like I had mentioned in the beginning, it deals a lot more with program management. So when I mentioned test officer before, that's just really what it's defined in within, say, your organization in the government. But it really falls into the generalities of program management, where you basically touch on everything in a project, which is the beauty and what I like about it, because you're not just going in and you're just clocking in, clocking out, doing one certain widget, one task at a time. One day I may show up, and it could just be a day of answering the phone and going to a million meetings that I'd never have the time to go to because I'm overbooked. But that's okay though. You have days like that, but that's, kind of what I like to call the data collection, how you get the information. When you get the information, then you can go off and do great things. But with that also being said, the main difference, especially within the job that we do here at White Sands, say like an engineer doing programmatics, you're really geared to really helping the warfighter. So sometimes we don't always see that big picture, but when you work directly, especially with the military, that's the beauty where I love where I work at, because I can directly see that. And sometimes in particular projects you deal, really boots on the ground with them. When you see the warfighter, no matter where, what they represent, within our department, airmen, sailors, and soldiers, and all the other folks that we support within DoD, that's where it's a big eye-opener, and that's where you get the satisfaction of, wow, I need to keep doing a good job. I need to keep my deadlines. I need to make sure that I get the best data as possible. So that turns into an end product that can help them, not just make their lives easier, just like when I go to work, I have to try to make my people's lives easier. It's just a domino effect. At the moment, I do hold 2 degrees, a bachelor's in mechanical engineering and a master's in industrial engineering, both acquired here at NMSU. I do have, certifications within Defense Acquisition University, certifications within like test and evaluation, engineering, and program management, things that I tend to do on the daily, or particular courses where I deal with contracts or even leadership as well. So they give a lot of opportunity for you to make sure you brush up on those skills and also figure out what's new in the world in the terms of not just technology, but in soft skills, in risk management. Because as we grow as a society, things in sociology, psychology, things change as we discover more things. So it's good to be aware of, what could be used, especially if you're as a team lead, a manager. Those ideas can stay with you, and you can learn all the things that didn't work, say, the last 20 years. And so you don't fall into that same hole as other folks did. Or you could take a really good idea and try to mold it toward a particular task or project that you're working with. But back to, say, certifications, those certifications, they help tremendously, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't matter what that certification is, it'll always look good on a resume, because no matter what, certifications are good because it means you take incentive to either learn within your field or take the bound to go outside your comfort zone, say of like science and technology or engineering, and you go get something, say like in the realm of like a technician would do, like say welding, water technology, or in leadership particularly, where you see most people, like say in like the business college or communications college go, and you rarely see folks that are, say, like in science-oriented fields go into that, because we're perceived, say, as like introverts or folks that just like to stay at our computers or our labs and don't bother us. So it's good to get outside your comfort zone and even get certifications outside of your field, because those may be the things that put you for a position, entry level or down the road as, say, a manager. To be like, oh, wow, you went to a leadership conference, and but your whole life you've been working in the laboratory. It's going to really, spark the committee's mind. Like, okay, this person isn't just a one-trick pony. This person has diversity, and people like diversity because that's what makes a person special. One event that I actually really got introduced to, like, the whole, like, wow, I want to go to college and possibly do something in higher order of getting a degree was the Upward Bound program at New Mexico State University, which is a pre-college program, and it really kind of introduced you to a lot of the administration and soft skills of going through college, and I thought that was so interesting because I had always had an interest in going to college because I've always liked NMSU, but I never really said, like, oh, what do I really want to do? What do I want to major in? That was always the issue. But that's where high school came into being. So, I took a few classes all around the board, everything from print shop, all the health, weight training classes. But when I hit a electronics class, only reason I got into that because that was the only thing that fit my schedule that semester. And that really sparked, I guess, more of the scientific, being in my mind to say, hey, maybe I can actually do this and turn this into a career, because it came real easy for the fact that it was more hands-on, and it made me think, like, okay, what are really hands-on science professions? Things like engineers or technicians do. I understand that there are scientists out there and they come up with theories, work in laboratories, but I was always more into, like, boots on the ground. Let me be there, let me see it, because if I see it, I know how it works, and then from there I can definitely take that skill, manipulate it, make it work for myself, and then possibly pass it on to other folks who are having issues with it, or even come together to see how we can make the process better and leave it better than where we found it. Don't always be looking at your phone. Don't be looking down. Always look up, because you never know where it's going to lead you. And the reason I say that, and like you say, if I don't mind me getting into just a 1-minute story with that. When I was growing up in Gallup, New Mexico, maybe 6, 7 years old, around that time frame in the mid to late 90s, I just happened to be looking up in the sky, and I actually saw a rocket firing up from Fort Wingate. And I was like, wow, I wonder where that's going to. And then I went to school and they announced, oh, wow, it's a mission being run by White Sands Missile Range. I'm like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Maybe one day I'll get to see that place. So that's why I say, always look up, be vigilant, be aware, because you never know what you might see that may inspire you and just change your life totally.